Something really big is shifting right under our feet. A change so huge that the people actually building it are calling it the dawn of a completely new economy. All right, let's get into it. Just imagine for a second. What if your next big customer, the one that chooses your product over a competitor's, isn't a person at all? What if it's an AI? And get this, what if this isn't some far-off future thing? What if it's happening right now, creating this sort of invisible marketplace that's already picking the winners and losers of tomorrow? Because, well, it is. This is not science fiction. Yeah, for the developers and founders who are on the absolute bleeding edge of this stuff, this is their reality. They can feel it, they see it every day. They believe artificial general intelligence, or AGI, AI with human-like reasoning, is here. And it's brought this kind of frenzy with it. They actually have a name for it: cyberpsychosis. It's this state of just total immersion. You've got builders, some who haven't written a line of code in a decade, who are now pulling all-nighters, working with AI models to build the future. And that future, it's running on a brand new economic model. So, welcome to the agent economy. It's like this parallel world where software, not people, is making the buying decisions. So, how does this actually work? Let's break down the difference. Okay, what's so fascinating here is just how different these two worlds are. The old way, it was social, right? You'd ask a friend, you'd search Stack Overflow, you'd see what's hot on GitHub. The new way, it's all computational. An AI agent doesn't care about opinions. It literally reads your documentation and decides mathematically if your tool is the best one for the job. You're dealing with a completely different kind of customer with totally different needs. And this quote from Ben Tossell just nails it. The market has fundamentally changed. You're not just building for human developers anymore. You are building for their robot assistants, their autonomous agents. So the billion-dollar question is, how on earth do you do that? Well, if you're playing in a new market, you're going to need a new playbook. This isn't about your classic marketing or sales tactics anymore. It's about engineering your entire product, especially your documentation, so that a machine will choose you. And there's a perfect case study for this, a company called Resend. They're an email sending service, and they didn't just accidentally fall into this new reality. They strategically built for it. The founder noticed something absolutely wild, and this was over a year ago. Take a look at this chart. ChatGPT and AI had become one of their top 3 ways of getting new customers. That means AI models were actively recommending Resend to developers. This was no accident. So, what was their secret sauce? They built documentation that was agent-friendly. So instead of these long, dense paragraphs, their headings are literally phrased as questions an AI might ask. The answers? Super direct, full of clean code snippets that are incredibly easy for a large language model, that's the tech behind ChatGPT, to understand and use. It's documentation that's been optimized for robots. I mean, just look at the difference here. You compare Resend to an older competitor like SendGrid. SendGrid's docs are built for frustrated humans who need help. They're complicated, they're hard to search, and they usually just point you to a customer support form. An AI agent is going to look at that, say, no thanks, and immediately choose Resend's clean, direct, and actually usable information every single time. And what this all means is that documentation has been completely elevated. It's not some boring afterthought anymore. It is your new front door. It's your primary marketing and sales channel in this new agent economy. And that's exactly why companies like Mintlify, who actually build Resend's docs, are becoming such a critical piece of the puzzle for this new world. But it gets even crazier than that. This isn't just about tweaking existing tools for agents. We're seeing a whole new class of products emerge, software that's built for agents, right from the very beginning. This is what we call the agent-native stack. I mean, just think about this stuff for a second. We're seeing things like Agent Mail, which is basically an email provider for AIs, because, hey, Gmail is designed to keep bots out. Or Moltbook, which is like a social network where only AI agents can talk to each other. It just makes you wonder, who is building the Stripe for agents? Who's building the Twinio? This entire parallel infrastructure is totally up for grabs. So, what's the end game here? Where is all of this going? The crazy fast emergence of this agent economy is forcing all of us to rethink our old ideas about what AGI would even look like. For years, we all had this kind of sci-fi vision of AGI, right? We called it God intelligence, the single, giant, super expensive AI model. But that's not what's happening. What we're actually seeing emerge is swarm intelligence. It's not one giant brain, it's millions of smaller, cheaper, specialized agents all working together. It looks a lot less like a god and a lot more like, well, human culture. It's more flexible, less predictable, and maybe a little bit more chaotic. Now, this might remind you of that kind of spooky dead internet theory, the idea that the web is already mostly just bots talking to other bots. But here's a totally different way to think about it. What if this next wave of smarter, more capable agents actually makes the internet better? What if their collective intelligence helps us find more truth, not less? Okay, so if this new world is being built right now by this swarm intelligence, what are the new rules of the road? How do you actually build something that wins in the agent economy? It really boils down to 3 key takeaways. First, you have to get your hands dirty. You need to develop a gut feeling for what these agents can do. Go ahead, embrace that cyberpsychosis. Second, empathize with the model. Don't try to force it to do things it's bad at. Build tools that play to its strengths. And third, and this one's huge, build open APIs. Agents want to talk programmatically. They absolutely hate clicking around on websites built for humans. It all comes down to this really simple but powerful twist on that classic Y Combinator motto. It's not just make something people want anymore. This is the new prime directive for anyone building today. Make something agents want. All right, so let's do a quick recap of what we've covered. First, a new agent economy is here. And in this economy, AIs, not humans, are the ones picking which software wins. To succeed, you need a whole new go-to-market playbook, one that's all about creating agent-friendly documentation, just like we saw with Recent. This massive shift is creating an entirely new agent-native tech stack, everything from email to social networks. And all of this seems to be pointing towards a future of swarm intelligence, collaborative and a bit chaotic, rather than a single god AGI. The key thing to remember is that this isn't some theory. It's happening right now. The agent economy is being built today. So the real question is, are you building for it?